And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Back from the holidays. Yes, we are. And I'm so excited to be here. It was so boring. I didn't have anything to do between 10 and 11 every day. And it was like, wow, I should be there talking to somebody and making a point or being opinionated. That would be good. Anyway, this is Monday, and Monday is so great. It's a great day, beginning of the week. You know, remember, you can reinvent yourself now when you walk in and see family, friends, or coworkers and become a different person. Like, what happened to you over the week? What happened? Man, Thanksgiving was good to you. You're so much more pleasant or so much sexier. I don't know. It's just you can make all that happen. And so Bob walked in here, Bob Berry, who's here every Monday, and just, lit up the room. No, he actually scared me. He came up behind me, and I'm going like, I'm feeling a presence of somebody. And then I turned around, and Bob's right there. So I'm so glad Bob's here. Deanie is still out of town. Deanie Harmon, who's usually with us on Mondays. And, if it's Monday, it's whodunit. I like to take that from Meet the Press. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press. But Mondays are always our whodunit day. And if you're just joining us, because we have just recently joined the FM world, and so if you're riding down anywhere between New Waverly and 242, and you think you're listening to KRBE, but you go, wait a minute, there's a different voice. This is a different type of music. You are on the Conroe FM stations, 106.1 and 104.5. And so we're happy to have you if you're just now. Richard, did you need to say something?
No, I just want to let you know 104 KRB is 104.1.
Didn't I say that?
No, we're not the same number as them.
No, honey.
So don't confuse the audience.
Listen, I'm trying to confuse them. I'm trying to make them think that they're on the right station, but it's actually our station. No, 104.1 is KRBE. I was just saying, if you're tuning
they wouldn't
in,
be on 104. They wouldn't be on KRB because we're 104.5.
We had the same conversation. I said, if they're tuning in and they start tuning down the aisle, down the line, and they're going 104.4, 104.5. Wait a minute, this isn't right. It's 104.1. No, it is KRBE. I know we're two separate call letters. I know that. I'm just saying that if they're trying to find KRBE, they will probably run across us and wonder, who are they? Okay? That's all I was saying. Richard, he's so defensive. He's so worried. I'm going to confuse anyone. Me? I'm confused enough for everybody. It's okay. Now, listen, we're so happy to have you with us, regardless of how you're listening to us, because you could be on the internet. We are globally transmitted on irlonestar.com. And you can listen live from your computer. We've got an app for your phone that you can listen to. And and soon to be on television. So you'll just be surround sound of the Cindy Cochran Show and all the programming, the wonderful programming that we have on irlonestar.com. A shout out to who's coming up after me is Mr. Richard Schischler III. He's up after this, and he will take care of all your business needs, and will from 11 to 12, and will help you with small business problems you may be having. But if you want to be on his show, I'm sure he'll be glad to have you if you want to be live with him. He's a great guy. He's called the Gray Panther. Is that correct? Did I say it right? The Gray Panther? Silver Fox. I knew it was an animal. I knew it was a color. Give me a break. Okay, silver fox. All right, great. Anyway, and he'll be up next. And then, of course, there's that beautiful, wonderful country music that Richard Schischler IV chooses every single day for us. And he does, really, Bob, I'm not that big a fan of country western music. But because I've been listening to the radio and our station, and so I'm hearing a lot of the music, I'm going like, I'm shocked at how Richard knows the right songs to pick. He's picking very trendy type songs. Now, he does old school stuff as well, throws it in, but he does do a lot of the modern stuff.
Now, see, I like the old style.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, the old stuff.
There's a song.
Classic country.
There's a song on there, it says old school. and this one guy's trying to preserve the sound. He said, all those kids jumping up and down on the stage, everything is not country to me. So he's trying to preserve that. But wow, a lot of things have happened. Even this morning, Ohio State University, who won their football game, they were all excited about that. They come this morning and they are on lockdown, and they have been given, the police have been giving them instructions to hide. And they have a thing called, run, hide, and then fight.
That's the three things that you would normally think about. Options if something's going on.
Right.
You can either run, hide, or fight.
Right, because they're saying if you're hiding, then stay in place. But if you're confronted with the shooter, and then everybody needs to fight at that time. Just charge him and just take him down. So that's what they're teaching them and training them over there, and they're now having to live it to come back and do that. And I think 9 people have been hurt, and I don't see any fatalities yet. So I'll update when we go to the break. I'll look and see what's going on there. But that's sad for them to be so excited and come back and share the victory of the football game and then have that happen. The other thing that's going on is that, of course, Fidel Castro is having celebrations and also mourning at the same time. And I don't know, Richard, are you hearing what I'm hearing? There's something I'm hearing, and it's not on my computer. There's nothing playing on my computer. So if no one else is hearing it, I'm hearing things. Okay, fine. That's not good. But anyway, so Fidel Castro did die over the weekend, and in Little Havana in Florida, they're very happy about it. And then in Cuba, they are actually having to do a 9-day mourning period about this. Now, his brother, Raul, who'll take over, he's 85, and Castro was 90 when he died. And so now, in 2 years, he said he will retire. And at that point, the regime will really be gone, and probably a lot of different things might happen. But I think anyone in their 60s, this would be their timeline and their awareness of Cuba, is Ricky Ricardo. The only thing I knew about Cuba was Ricky Ricardo growing up. And it seemed like a nice place because they went over and visited and all that. And his family would come over and visit the Ricardos. And everything was nice. Nobody said anything about dictatorship or any of that stuff. And so everything seemed like it was cool, and nobody thought about it. 1962, I think it was 2, we get a wake-up call as kids. I'm in 9th grade now. And all of a sudden, we've got a situation on our hands that Russia and the United States are having kind of a standoff, and Cuba's the one who helped, put some missiles in position, and so that kind of sphincter factor was high because they were going, wait a minute, what do you think you're doing? And so they've got pictures of them moving these in, and so Cuba became saddled up with Russia, and there we were going like, what's going to happen if this escalates? What's going to happen? And then we have President Kennedy coming on the TV, and he starts talking about what's look, I want everybody to be calm, but what we're having here, and he scared us to death. And we didn't know if we were going to see our friends. And I remember that Friday at school, everybody hugging each other and saying goodbye because we didn't know if we'd be back, because this may be the point where we have the nuclear war and all that. So it was a scary time. And so I had a different feeling about Castro at that point, for sure. But we were growing up in an era where there wasn't that much news, not 24/7 like that. So we didn't know, and who cares? You're at that age, a teenager. So there's one other point in 1999 where Castro came back into my awareness. factor. And I'm going to talk about that right after the break. And it's kind of something that it was one of those, it was on TV 24/7. And we finally started getting a hint of what it's going to be like to have cable news all the time. So I will talk about that when we get back. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Don't go away. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we got Who Done It coming up.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County is a 501c3 all-volunteer-based rescue and adoption organization with a no-kill policy for healthy and adoptable animals. Our goals are fourfold: to rescue and rehabilitate homeless animals, to provide a safe haven for the animals until a suitable adoption or foster care home is found or until they are reunited with their owner, to educate the public about the great need to reduce pet population, which includes the importance of having their pets spayed and neutered, and to further the cause for humane and responsible pet ownership, and to provide a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for people who are unable to afford to spay or neuter their pets otherwise. SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County encourages you to think adoption first. You can contact us at www.spcaofmc.com.
Hi, it's me, Cece Holmes. I'd like to take this time to invite you to spend your Sunday evenings with me, and of course Sunday Evening Jazz, where you will hear the best in smooth jazz, traditional jazz, and indeed so much more. That's Sunday Evening Jazz every Sunday from 5 until 7 p.m. right here on Lone Star Radio, Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM.
Hi, this is BJ Orner from Montgomery County Performing Arts Society. I'm here to remind you to get your tickets now for all the upcoming events that McPass has to offer. All shows will be held at the beautiful Crichton Theater in downtown Conroe. Call 936-441-7469 for your tickets today, or go to our website, www.mcpass.org, for more information. Hope to see you at the show.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate our listeners. And, of course, Dennis has checked in, and he said, put Bob Berry on. I'm going to, Dennis. Just hang on. But I got to talk about this. In 1999, it was just around Thanksgiving, a little boy and his mom were trying to make it to Florida. And they were coming from Cuba. And so they were on, like a float. And the mom dies during the struggle trying to get over. She dies. And the little boy was left, and people got him to relatives there in Florida. And his name was Elian Gonzalez. And I don't know if that name rings a bell to you or whatever. Do you remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. And it was heart-wrenching because the dad wanted the boy back. He did not want them to go to America, and he wanted them back. And America was like, no, they're here now. They're with us. And the poor boy says now, that he remembers that he wanted his dad, and nobody would let him see his dad. So Fidel Castro jumped in and stood up to the USA and said he wants his dad. His dad's coming back, and it's like a kidnapping went on. I just trying to remember all the things, but the U.S. gave him up. He said he could go back, and he went back, and that was something that really impressed me. I was upset with Castro. I felt bad for the boy, and so you're torn between so many different ways of what was happening. But I just kept thinking how bad it must be that mom would take that child and try and float across, coming to Florida, and then she lost her her life, trying to give him a better life. But the boy now, if you look at him, he's a really good-looking kid and is very well-spoken. They interviewed him the other day when found out that, or whenever Fidel Castro passed, and he said he felt like he had lost a great father to him, and so it was very, very complimentary. So anyway, those are like the three main things I remember about Castro and how those times went, and now what's going to happen, we don't know. So we're going to look and see what will happen with the future, administration that's coming in, and how the people will respond to opening up any kind of better relations. I think Obama tried, and we haven't gotten a lot of good response from it yet, but we'll see. So that's what we'll be looking at that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, what you've come here to listen for is the Who Done It series. This series, so if you have never been on Monday on the show, this is where Bob Berry will lay out a past crime scene. He's going to give us the clues, and then we have to ask questions. And you can question on my message page on the Facebook, the Cindy Cochran Show. Go to that right now, and then click on messages, and then you can write your messages like asking questions like a detective would. I know all of you love Forensic File, ID, and 48 Hours and all that. So this is kind of like what that is. This is a real crime scene. No names are given. This is past that has happened. And he knows the answer. And so he's just going to give us the clues right now and the story. And Bob, are you ready?
I am.
And here he comes. The deep
This started back in the early 90s.
Early 90s?
Yeah, like 1990, 1991.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'd actually just got out of the academy at that point.
Really?
And,
okay.
I'd worked for about a year and a half or so, almost 2 years, as a reserve before I actually got into full-time. And so I was riding with an officer, and we were given a call about 5:30 in the morning, which is unusual at that time. And so we went in, knocked on the door, couldn't find any answers or, any noise or anything in there.
Yeah.
We got a call saying that this friend of hers, the victim was a female. And so, and I'll say victim. We still haven't said victim.
We don't know yet.
Deceased. How's that?
The deceased is a female. It's a fur friend.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we got a call saying that she hadn't showed up at her work, and showed she was late, so we went in to do a welfare check. And so we tried for quite some time trying to get, into the house or finding out, waking up somebody or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally we found a window, and finally got into the window and went into the house. And what we found out was that there was a deceased female in the living room of the house. She looked like she had been pretty well beaten, bruised.
Yeah.
You could tell that there was some type of argument, something was going on that she got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also some blood on the floor. And so we started working on the case, and just like we would always do, we start getting pictures. And
as the first thing you do, you go through. Do you go through the house? Do you go through the whole
we
house?
have to what we call clear the house and
Okay.
make sure there's nobody else in there.
Is that where you hold
hiding.
you hold the gun out and you
Yeah.
go and go clear? You do that kind of stuff.
Kind of, sort of like that.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Now TV gets a little bit,
Okay.
away from it. But yes, that's kind of what we did.
Okay.
We went in and cleared the house, make
Right.
sure there's nobody there, make sure there's nobody else hurt
Right.
in there.
Right.
And so then after that, we start, getting the detectives and crime scene and all that kind of stuff coming in. Regardless of what it was, we normally come in and do photos and that. Even in cases of where it's a natural, we still take photos. And
Now, who's taking the photos?
one of our crime scene officers, yeah.
That's what he's there to do.
That's what his job is, yeah.
Okay.
They have several jobs, but that's one of the things that they
And
do.
is he trained? Do you train to take a photo of a dead person?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They have to go to classes and do photography and how to do the photos better.
Right.
And,
right.
And all that. So we try to follow up on everything with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there for quite some time.
Now, how old was the victim or the person who's deceased?
If I remember correctly, she was 58, close to 60. I want to say 58 still rings.
She was on the floor in the living room.
On the floor, laying on her back.
Laying on her back.
Mm-hmm.
Any blood? You said blood. There was blood around.
Blood around her head.
Around her head.
Uh-huh.
Any coming out of her mouth?
No, not really.
Okay. So you remember everything because it's your first.
This was the first one I've ever seen. So.
You've seen dead people before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But nothing in this position or this kind of area.
Right.
So.
And so then, and to begin trying to figure out what she died from. So you're in, is it in the Conroe? Were you in Conroe? Okay. So there's no one that's going to come over to, like the people they have that come over and check on the body and all that stuff. You have to do that through a judge?
Well, typically because of the city or the county of Montgomery County, we have justice of the peace.
Okay.
We don't have a coroner like
there's no coroner.
The city of Houston or something like that. So we would have justice of the peace would come out and order an inquest and find out what's going on. So one of the things that was really odd in there was that there was nothing stolen, nothing torn up, nothing missing that we could tell, no stolen TVs or anything like that. It wasn't a robbery, didn't look to be. The doors were all locked and the windows were all locked.
Everything was locked up.
Locked up, like she was just living in the house.
And
it had a screen door and it had a hard door, and they were both locked.
And it didn't look like she had fallen and hit her head or anything.
No, this was on the front of her head.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay.
Front and top, yeah.
Front and top.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my word! And she didn't look like she'd been moved from one place to another.
Nope. There were no strings of blood.
Okay. And
no footprints, no
nothing like that.
Nothing.
Now, what about splatter or anything like that? But don't y'all have that aluminum? What the stuff that powder you put down to see if there's other blood, or blood has been there, wiped up, or whatever? You
can do that. There's several chemicals that we can use. There was some, in the early days that we had to darken the room and that sort of thing.
It's fluorescent?
Fluorescent.
Okay.
But we still have some other things now that are even working even better.
Was it tile or a rug?
Rug.
It was a rug.
Carpet, yeah.
And her eyes were closed or open?
They were closed.
Okay. Anything coming out of her ear? Any blood coming from her ears? Okay. Now, at that point, do you guys have to roll her over and all that because there's not a coroner coming to do that?
Well, when the justice of the peace comes in and they say, okay, well, let's go a little bit deeper with this and
okay.
some more photos and find out. So,
but you don't touch her until
the justice of the peace says so.
Okay. And she wasn't cold. She wasn't cold, or she
was cold.
She was cold. Okay. Mm-hmm. So from when they called to when you found her, how many hours had gone by?
At least 3 or 4 hours.
Okay. Now, the lady who called, this is her friend, right?
Mm-hmm. Co-worker.
A co-worker. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. That would, man, I'm trying to think what disease if she has bruising on the front of her head, she's been hit. She hit something. Mm-hmm. She
was not married. She did not have a boyfriend.
So you're eliminating the people that would have hit her.
What you would normally think of.
Yeah. But if everything's locked, but you can lock the door. I mean, you have a key. Someone would have to have a key to lock the door and make it look like everything was still locked, right? Because y'all couldn't get in.
Possibly, yeah. That was one of the odd things. The doors weren't open and nobody came in.
Yeah.
Typically, if somebody's going to come in, they're going to leave the door open until they leave.
Right.
In this case here, the doors and windows were all locked.
Yeah. But it could have been someone who knew her well enough to have a key, come in, do something bad, and then lock the door.
Possibly.
Did you find a key on her?
I'm not.
You can't give
I'm not
that?
going there yet.
Oh, see? Okay, good, Cindy. Okay, we're close. All right. I wonder if you this almost reminds me of Dial M for Murder because of the key. It was the key that gave him away. Did you find a key in her purse? Did y'all look for a key? Did anybody think about, let's see if she has a key on her, if someone knocked her out and left with the key?
Her purse was in the bedroom and
money was in it?
Money, credit cards, the whole 9 yards were still in her purse.
But there had been a struggle you felt in the living room.
There was some damage done, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. To where was the damage done?
Well, and what I'm saying, the damage to her body.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like there was table was knocked over. There was, no, that kind of stuff. Oh, okay.
Nothing broken, nothing dropped, nothing out of place.
Good grief.
Very clean house.
It's like, oh. See, if you ever do my crime scene and you go out and you say, man, there was a huge struggle. There must have been 50 people in there. No. Okay. So anyway, I am so perplexed. You got to give me another clue. You have to give me another clue.
Well, typically when you get all the cars come up with the lights on, and all the crime scene people come out. By this time it's daylight. People are going to work and this, that, and the other. And so crowds usually come around and, close by saying,
sure,
we know her, we talk about her. We ask questions about her. She was very, very quiet, very meek.
Okay, but something was said in the question and answer around with the neighbors that gave y'all another clue. Did you find out anything from talking to them?
Sometimes we get good information. Sometimes we don't.
Okay. All right. We're going to find out if you did when we come back from this break. We got to this break. Okay. I got to think hard, man. This is hard. And after we figure this out, I have a riddle for Bob. And I don't think he's going to get it. Nobody's going to get it. Even Richard couldn't get this. Nobody's going to get this. All right. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio. We will be right back.
The Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Doing Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. Through our Operation School Bell program, we have provided new clothes to over 50,000 students in our county. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. I have a response from a listener that says, this justice of the peace thing sounds like caveman days. Some person who has no forensic training is right behind the cops. How do you respond to that?
Well, actually, the justice of the peace does take classes on that to catch up with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, under state laws, there are certain counties that have less than a certain amount of people in per county.
Mm-hmm.
If you have, like in Harris County, you have millions and millions of people. So rather than having justice of the peace, you would have coroners that come out and do that. But
right.
they're not. The counties are not required to do that under this amount. And I don't know off the top of my head what the number is, but there is a number that the justice of the peace are allowed to do that and start an inquest on it for their own investigation as well. And so what happens is if we don't have enough in the county, we probably won't have a coroner unless the county wants to pay for that.
Well, what was amazing to me is Judge Scalia, when he died, it was the justice of the peace that they called. It was a very small place, county where he was hunting. And so they called, but you would think a Supreme Court justice, they'd have flown in somebody and had a coroner look at him. Mm-hmm. That amazed me.
Well, and in the process, the justice of the peace would be the first one to make a decision or cause a inquest in it to get it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I kind of agree there might be somebody else coming in and looking at it as well.
Right.
But
so he also has
point, yeah.
He also has the option if he feels like this is too, complicated or whatever, and needs more forensic type stuff that y'all may not have, that he could call someone else in.
True.
To do that. He can.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's not much as a caveman, an arcane type of thing. It's more of probably budget wise.
Well, it's not only budget, because there's some counties that actually pay for a coroner,
mm-hmm.
but here in Montgomery County, we still have pathologists, and they do things for us,
mm-hmm.
and they do the inquest for the judges, but it's not necessarily a coroner.
Right. Wouldn't be titled as a coroner.
Right.
Okay.
So it's still legal to do that, and then, like you say,
until Conroe proper becomes much larger,
unless the county wants to.
They want to change that.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we're back now. Of course, when we go to break, I try and break them down. Okay, I say, now, Bob, come on, you've got to give me something here.
Okay, I gave you a clue
mm-hmm.
that there were people standing around.
Okay, they went in about 5:30 in the morning, and then when you noticed people that were standing around, it was about what time?
Probably close to 7.
To 7.
Yeah, it was daylight.
Okay, so people weren't going to work; they were standing around, and
well, there were some that were getting ready to go to work, and there were some, trying to figure out what was going on, and there was some that was coming from work. Had worked at night.
And this would be a normal thing for people to gather around, find what happened, why
sure.
are all the police cars here, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys start interviewing and talking to the people that are coming and standing around, or they just start volunteering information about her?
Well, we ask questions like, did they have a husband? Did you have an ex-husband? Did you have a boyfriend? Did you have something else going on?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have somebody that they didn't like or whatever?
Did they hear noises?
You have screaming and yelling or whatever. Have you ever seen anybody out there? All this information, your neighbors know a lot.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what you could learn out of.
I try not to think about that, Bob. I just try and think that they're living their own lives and not looking out the window with binoculars like we do. No, but we live so far. We're like 500 feet from the street. And so a lot of times things are going on. We can't tell what's going on. So we, naturally get the binoculars out and see what is going on across the street. Is that bad, Bob? Is that illegal to do that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. Whew. All right. As long as I don't have that telescope, that's probably okay. As long
not
as
somebody's window.
Yeah, right. No, we're just trying to find out what they're standing out in the yard yelling about. But anyway, okay. So people came up. Now, what did you find from that? Can you tell us what did you find from when the question was asked? Like, had you heard any noises or?
One of the questions that we ask are, who comes and goes in the house?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sure.
Do you have friends that come in? Oh yeah, they have somebody come eat dinner, so many times a day or a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, who comes and goes? Well, there was one male that was younger. And he was in there, in and out, several times.
Nobody knew if this was a boyfriend,
no,
nephew,
actually was a very close neighbor.
A close neighbor. So he lived on the block?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he came over.
Yeah.
And he was younger than 58.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Was this a cougar type thing, or what do you feel? Do you know?
No, it was not.
It was not?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it started to sound a little shady, but okay. So, all right, so now we've got a younger man, and there's only one guy that they've seen coming in and out of this. So
well, there were several people. There
Yeah.
were male, female, and all that, but, they would come and eat dinner or
Right.
whatever. They had friends.
But
Had
this
friends.
was one that was coming in and out on a regular basis.
Regular basis.
Okay.
Yes.
I love this. So, did anyone ever find out, was there a relationship, or did anyone ask, was there a relationship?
Friends only.
Huh? Friends only?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did he have a key?
No.
He didn't have a key.
No.
Well, could she have been struck and it didn't kill her right away, and she went and locked the door because she was afraid he'd come back, and then laid down and, collapsed on the floor?
With her damage to her head,
Yeah.
she didn't close the door and lock the door.
Oh, broken skin, broken skull?
Close, yes.
Oh, wow. Wow, okay. Oh, my word. This brute. She didn't do it to herself, did she?
No.
Okay.
It would have been very impossible to do that.
If I was trying to hammer something in and I took a big whack and went right to my in the middle, I can see me doing that, but she wasn't that type. Okay, all right. So she didn't, it wasn't a self-inflicted wound.
No, it was not.
We know that. Somebody did this to her.
Correct. There were no gunshots, no knives, no anything else.
So she had, and it didn't look like she'd had her head bashed against the wall or anything like that in any of the rooms. Didn't look like there was blood or, okay. No. Man, Bob.
I'm going to have to get you to this point. I'm going to have to get it over.
Get
it over with.
Okay, give me one more thing. One more thing.
Okay, come on.
All right, go ahead. Give me another.
There was a argument earlier in the day.
Yeah.
With that person.
With the younger person.
Yes.
There was an argument. Okay.
And that's pretty much it. Everything else I'll have to end.
He'll reveal it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to reveal it for you.
Oh, well, Dennis had asked about money.
No, money was not an issue.
Was not the issue.
Well, physical money, no. But money in general, yes.
Okay. Now I know you see money as general and then physical. Physical money. You're talking about cash on hand?
There's a difference between going into somebody's purse and stealing money.
Right.
Or whether you have
access to their bank.
Well, not necessarily access to the bank. More about the money that she was spending for this person.
Oh, credit. Okay. So you have credit card evidence of hers buying gifts and doing things for this person.
Bills.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. So we're pretty sure it's him. It is him.
Well, we're getting close to it, so yes, it was him.
Okay, it was him. Now we need to know. Now, did you break him down in the interview? Did you have him confess?
Yes, he did.
He did confess. And did he? Now you got to tell me, how did he do it? Why did he do it?
Okay. The deceased was a friend with this younger male.
Mm-hmm.
And the family that he lived at would not allow him to make long-distance phone calls. And so she would come over. He would come over to her and use her phone for long-distance calls. And it worked out well, and they were good friends. And for some reason or another, she decided that her phone bill was getting too much. And so she cut him off on the phone.
Oops.
And so he got angry, and he took a poker out of the fireplace and beat her in the head with the poker. And we found the poker out in the yard, out in the tall grass.
Oh,
outside of
man.
the house.
You did find it.
Yes.
See, I should have asked you, did you find any instrument that he could have used? Someone
So
could
you
have
didn't
used.
ask anything about weapons or what was
No, I did not. No, because you just said there was no bullets, there was no knife. So you kind of like knocked. Okay, but I need to stay on it. So that's what caused him. I mean, that's what caused the death. How did he get out of the house?
He actually beat her so severe that the poker was bent.
Yikes! Oh, well, how did he get out of the house?
He locked the door on the way out.
So he just did one of those kind of locks.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have to have a key, Cindy. Smarty pants. Okay.
She opened the door, let him in, and then when he left, he locked the door behind him.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's so good, Bob. That's so good. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So
in the total answer, or the end of that is that we actually found the guy, talked to him.
Yeah.
He eventually confessed. We got a warrant to go into the house. We found a T-shirt that he was wearing that had blood splatters on his T-shirt.
Isn't that amazing? Why would you? Okay, and what?
And, of course, we found the poker. And
yeah.
So it was pretty much
boom, boom, boom. Oh, man.
It took about 6 hours.
6 hours. Mm-hmm. You guys are so good. I love that. Makes me feel safer knowing you guys are out there, you know. And if anything happened to me, you'd find the guy, right? You wouldn't give up. You'd find him. Okay, that's good. Listen, when we come back from this next break, that's so good. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Deanie would have loved that. When we come back from this break, I want to tell you about a riddle that just, bothered me for so long for somebody finally gave me the answer. They would not give me the answer. I forgot about it. It came back. But I'm gonna tell you this riddle and see if you can get it. So come back. I don't think Bob, I don't think Richard, nobody can get this. All right. We'll be right back. Don't go away. The Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the most opinionated talk show on radio.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Wow. We had a great crime scene and all that. So if you missed it, please go to the Cindy Cochran Show and look for the archives that I try and put up the Whodunit archives so that you know to go to that. Everybody loves the Whodunit series that we're doing on Mondays. But you can always go to YouTube or SoundCloud, YouTube or SoundCloud, and search the Cindy Cochran Show. And on YouTube, you can subscribe, and then you'll get updates on what's has hit the YouTube Cindy Cochran Show page. All right. So anyway, if you guys missed any of it, be sure and go back because this was a good one. I could not figure it out. But here's a riddle that's been drove me crazy for so long. How this happened, and when I found out, I was so mad because it was like nobody could figure that out. Okay, so it was a hotel room. There was a resident there that had not been heard of. People have tried to call. Nothing was happening. So they finally sent the detective up to go see what was in. Just go on in the room and find out. So he goes in the room, and he walks in, and there's a man hanging from the ceiling. And he looks around. There's no furniture. There's not any furniture in there at all. Nothing is there. It's a totally bare room. And he looked throughout. Nothing. He was going like, how did he hang himself? I can't even figure out how you hang. There he is, and he's hanging. So he called people up. People started coming up, and he left him hanging there because he wanted to show that this guy he's dead. But there's nothing where he could have gotten to that height and hung himself. No chair, no stool, no nothing. And that was it. How did this guy hang himself with no furniture in the room? Master Bob.
Okay, go back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And you say he was hanging from the ceiling?
Right.
Well, it only takes about 2 feet.
What?
With a rope or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
You can still hang yourself. You don't have to be out of the ceiling.
You don't have to be hanging from the ceiling? You don't have to be from the ceiling.
No.
Well, he was hanging from the ceiling. He got to the ceiling, tied it off, and then...
And it was in a room.
Huh?
It was in a room.
In a room. Now, if you're thinking he jumped up high enough and got his neck in there, he was too high up. That's what they couldn't. They were baffled that there had to have been something that he stood on. What would he have stood on?
Had to have a low ceiling.
No, he was high enough for everybody to. This was the thing they could not figure out. What did he stand on? What could he have stood on to hang himself?
Was there a sprinkler head?
No.
Or any other piping or anything else in there?
This is an old riddle. I think this came from a long, long time ago.
A long time.
Yes. Nothing was there. So, do you give up?
Beams?
No.
Wooden beams or anything like that?
It was just it had piping. You could see piping, and I guess they would, he could hang himself with that.
Could you just not throw a rope over the pipe or the deal, make a knot in it, tighten it up, and then go from yourself? All you got to do is just sit down. You mean like it? So they put it in there, and then when it was pulled, then it would have caught on the knot, and the knot would have held him. Correct. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. Richard, do you have any idea? Did he shake his head?
No.
Okay. Yes. He stood on a block of dry ice, and the ice disappeared, and there was nothing left. It evaporates. So when they found him, there was nothing there. They could not figure out what happened. It was a block of dry ice.
So how did the
Mamma mia. What?
How did the rope get up there, or whatever it was?
No, he stood on the block of ice. He tied it. It was the height of like a chair, and he tied it. And then.
So he did tie a rope up to something out of the ceiling.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
he did tie. He tied it. Yeah, he tied himself up there. So that's why they thought he had to stand on something high, so he could tie it or have some kind of elevation so he could tie it. But when that block of ice melted or he kicked it, that's what they didn't find out. But they found out that he had bought this, and this is what they realized. But it took so long for them to ever find out that he had bought this because they didn't have the kind of communications that we had, or anybody would have said something. So I love that. I thought that was so great, but it drove me crazy. Who would have ever come up with? Okay, anyway, so you can go, just totally amaze your friends. But we have to talk about Black Friday. We have to talk about it. I did not participate in it at all. That's how I avoided the crowds, the chaos. Bob Berry, the brilliant man that he is,
was not brilliant that night. No.
Okay. So you went to go see, what up with this? This is going to be fun. The energy of everybody trying to buy something. What happened, Bob?
Well, normally I do not go to Black Friday or the night before, because actually they were starting Thursday night.
Did your sweet wife Lori drag you?
Yes. And so there were a couple of things that she wanted to get for Christmas gifts. And so I can't tell you which one it is, but it's the one with the little red circle and the dot in the middle. And
you're like putting a target on somebody's back. Okay.
Well, the line was all the way back to the other end, almost to the shopping center. And so anyway, once we got in there, of course.
But you stood in that line?
Yes. And so my patience was getting really, really short. And so actually got into the store and we started looking for these things. Of course, you couldn't find it all.
Did you have your taser on you?
And I did not.
Oh, okay.
I wish I had my baton, but
Wacko.
clean, because you couldn't walk down the aisles.
No.
Pretty much. And so anyway, I did end up getting a cheap TV.
You did?
Yeah, a little screen, 32-inch screen.
How much?
$85.
Oh, that's good. That's
It was
really
very good.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
But there were other family members in there with us as well.
Okay.
And so it was just very hectic.
Chaotic.
To me, it is just not worth it.
No.
So
no,
that'll be my first and my last.
My first and last was we were in Lubbock at the Walmart in Lubbock. And that's all they got to do in Lubbock. That thing opens up and Black Friday. Everybody is there. That's a big event. I didn't know. I'd never been to one of those things. I didn't know from a Black Friday. So I take my mother in her wheelchair, and say, let's go see all the people and they're shopping. It's going to be so much fun. And we walked in there, and I thought she was going to be hurt. And I thought I was going to have to hurt someone because of the way they were treating and acting. So crazy. And when I walked in, I thought, I'm just going to get out of here. So I'm going to circle all the way around and get to the other end. There was no way to get through, and people wouldn't let you through. They would not open up a way to get. I could never invite any of the people to church that I talked to, and the way I talked to them about getting out of the way to get my mom out of there. They were messing with the wrong person, and I was like you. I was just like, your nerves are so shattered by the time you get there. That's it. And so, and you feel like you're going to have to use the language that they would understand. So it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. I'll never do that again, ever. I don't care what. I'm going to learn how to shop online. That's what I'm going to do. Guys, we will see you tomorrow. Please, we're here Monday through Friday, and we have so much to talk about, so many interesting things and fun things coming up. So don't you go away. Be here for us. The Cindy Cochran Show, reality radio.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schisler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schisler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.